Forum. Welcome once again, and thank you for joining us. This is the high-level policy session 2 for the WSIS Forum, and I would like you all to join me during the session. We're going to be discussing the digital divide, and we'll be addressing the issues of digital inequalities that persist in our world today. So before I start, I would like to just set the rules of procedure for the smooth running of this session. We'd like to give you some guidelines. First of all, we'll be taking questions through the Q&A chat. So please make sure you put your questions in the Q&A chat. And when there's time at the end of this session, we would go through and make sure that your questions are addressed. Also, please note that during this event, all your microphones are muted with the exception of panelists. This session is recorded and will be available on the event page on the WSIS website soon after this workshop. There's also real-time human captioning, which is available during this session. And we also have this session broadcast live on the WSIS Process Facebook page. So there are lots of ways to engage with this session, and we are very excited to have you all join us. So before I invite Mr. Malcolm Johnson, Deputy Secretary General for the ITU to give a few remarks, I just wanted to make sure that you're all participating actively and making sure that you are fairly involved in this process. So thank you very much. And I'd like to invite Mr. Malcolm Johnson to give his opening remarks. Malcolm.
Thank you very much, Eleanor. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all participants, wherever you happen to be. And let me add my welcome to this high-level policy session on bridging digital divides. We're very grateful to the excellent panelists that we have speaking at this session for sparing their time to be with us. Some had to get up very early in the morning. We have most speakers, I believe, from the Americas for this session. And many thanks to you, Eleanor, for acting as the high-level track facilitator. So this topic is at the core of ITU's mission as the UN Specialized Agency for ICTs. And the COVID-19 pandemic has illustrated the importance of being connected like never before, to keep abreast of health advice, to continue working and studying, shopping, staying in touch with loved ones. However, as we know, this has benefited just over half of the world's population. Around 3.7 billion people are still unconnected, and most of those live in the rural areas and remote communities, which is why bringing these people online is more important now than ever before, and why this session offers the opportunity to exchange best practices, success stories, and good ideas on how to address this vital challenge. Although connectivity is a problem for remote and sparsely populated communities, often due to terrain, also the return on the investment not being so good, it's not simply a problem of connectivity, however, as the statistics show that over 90% of the world's population is covered by at least 3G. It's more a problem of affordability and having the relevant content in the local language, making people aware of the benefits and giving them the digital skills to take advantage of the connection. Under the leadership of ITU, the WSIS Forum serves as a global multi-stakeholder platform to bring together world leaders, international organizations, the private sector, academia, and civil society, all the major stakeholders, to discuss, share experiences, and foster partnerships to address these and other key issues that are necessary to bring a truly global information society and strengthen the impact of ICTs for sustainable development. Cross-industry and public-private sector collaboration is essential. This has driven the work of ITU from its beginning 155 years ago. And this multi-stakeholder approach to collaboration is at the heart of the WSIS Forum. ITU has been working with all the WSIS stakeholders to strengthen the alignment of the WSIS process with the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda, so that the WSIS action lines are a key enabler of the WSIS, of the SDGs. So let me thank you all for joining us. I will now return to Eleanor to pose questions to our excellent panelists. I'm sure you will have a very enlightening and a very fruitful discussion. Thank you very much, Eleanor.
Thank you very much, Malcolm, Deputy Secretary General. And thank you for reminding us that, you know, the digital divide falls along various lines, gender, geography, and income levels as well. And I'm sure the panel would delve deeper when it comes to this discussion. Before we go to the panel, I just wanted to invite our WSIS Action Line facilitator, Dr. Bilel Jamoussi, to just give us a 1-minute remark.
Thank you very much, Eleanor. Excellencies, colleagues and friends, it's a great pleasure to join you today to discuss where we stand in our journey towards bridging the digital divides. I am Tunisian and Canadian. I remember the 2005 WSIS in Tunis like it was yesterday. I was there representing Nortel, one of the world's biggest telecom companies. Nortel was an unsinkable ship that sank. Nortel's margin over its competitors narrowed very fast. That divide disappeared faster than anyone could have predicted. It is one of many examples of how fast the ICT industry can transform. The ICT industry continues to transform at an extraordinary pace, and all sectors are now transforming with the help of ICTs. From Nortel, I joined the ITU Standardization Bureau, where we continue to see ITU standards bridging divides to the benefit of economies and societies worldwide. Different industries are entering new shared space with an associated convergence in the responsibilities of different regulatory authorities. Inclusive standardization process helps us move forward together. ITU standards now support digital transformation in fields from energy and transportation to healthcare, financial services, education, agriculture, and smart cities. The pandemic has highlighted the critical importance of ensuring that all citizens and governments are able to benefit from these digital transformations. Working together in ITU standardization, we're reinforcing the new partnership that will be essential to our achievement of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The WSIS process aligns exactly with this agenda. WSIS is a UN multi-stakeholder process that fosters global partnership to achieve the full potential of ICTs for development. The WSIS action lines are a key framework for the digital collaboration required to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. We see closer collaboration between the public and private sector and among countries at different stages of ICT development. In digital finance and mobile money, we see a prime example of how developing countries can pioneer new directions of innovation to the benefit of developing and developed countries alike. We continue working to bridge the so-called standardization gap to ensure that all countries share in the benefit of inclusive standardization process and resulting international standards. We also continue to bring ICT decision makers together with decision makers in other sectors to learn from one another and coordinate conversions. The impressive lineup of policymakers in this WSIS session is evidence of our strong resolve to bridge digital divide and overcome challenges like this pandemic together. I would like to encourage you to engage in collaboration platforms such as our Financial Inclusion Global Initiative, Fiji, Digital Currency Global Initiative, United for Smart Sustainable Cities Initiative, and our AI for Good Global Summit. These platforms are always available, always online, and their success lies in the diverse set of stakeholders that they bring together. The world moves closer and closer together every day, and as we become more and more interconnected, we are reminded of our differences and the divides still to be overcome. What are the divides that our interconnections have exposed, and how can our interconnections help us bridge these divides? I'm looking forward to learning your thoughts on this question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bilel Jamoussi, and you really set the scene so well. It's great to hear about all these initiatives that IT is undertaking and how we can also engage. So I really encourage participants and all the countries present to ensure that they are represented in that space as well, and also to see how the WSIS lines connect to the SDGs and why we also should be very involved in that space. So thank you. And now we come to the very exciting panel, and I am really